Welcome to the Land Your Bets sports betting live stream. Officially got that Discord going. Very appreciative of y'all who have been coming in already. We got a lot of people in there already, man. Feeling really good about how that's going to look. I'll put that quickly up for you guys so you can see as well. Still got this going. So jump in and let's get it in that Discord. Already got a few bets. I'll go over one of them I put in earlier. We can at least be on the same page here for those of y'all that haven't not yet jumped into that Discord. But feeling pretty good about it, man. Really good reception so far. Appreciate you guys. We definitely got a bunch of people in here already who we know are going to be in these videos. So there's some nice crossover, and I'm very appreciative of you guys. Definitely continue to let me know what you think. We're going to be doing all that stuff together. So once we get that going a little bit more, we'll definitely have some people jumping in there and sharing the bets. We already got a couple good looks from people that put their stuff in there. So this is a crazy day in the NBA, man. I'm gonna be presenting my screen. I'm gonna do my best to get through everything that we can. And make sure that we're on top of these injuries as much as anything. If you are in that Discord, we've already got a channel in there specifically for looking at those injury reports. We got the Underdog NBA Fantasy Twitter account that's going to go ahead and just update us with all that stuff. That's what I'm using anyway, which is really on top of it. So we'll keep it that way. I'm finishing up the cheat sheets here for you guys as well, so we can throw those into the Discord and we can make sure that you know what I'm looking at and why I'm looking at what I'm looking at, etc. We've already got some good looks from some people in here, so I'm gonna jump into the chat and see what we got. Make sure you are coming with those bets in the comments as well. I'm gonna have the scrolling on the bottom there. We'll get those updated bets into the bottom line, and we'll get that stuff on a card. Throw that into Discord as soon as we get off of this chat. Probably do a little bit of some of these office hours as well in Discord here in a little bit, so we can get that going. I'll put all right. I got Daniel Stockton asked for the link. It's going to be in the YouTube description, and it's already in the YouTube description, and I'll put it in here for y'all as well, so we can just make sure it's in the chat if anybody needs it, and I can just tell y'all to scroll up and go from there. I'm hoping to have Chris be capping on. He's actually the one I can count on coming in here in a little bit. Probably about 6 p.m. Eastern is when he's going to be able to make it. And then we do have, I'm hoping to get Prop Bomb, and I'm hoping to get Kyle Kerms as well. So I'm going to bring those dudes in and get some bets. Because, bro, there's 15 games. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit overwhelmed because as soon as I'm looking at something, I got ADD. I'll be looking at something else and see what else I feel and all that kind of stuff. And then this kind of thing right here, DB's on top of, which is who's playing. Like, come on, man. It's going to be real easy to make bets once we know everybody that's sitting. And these books are going to be real slow probably to get these props up for these backups. So you got to stay on top of that stuff. But I'm going to add a couple more that I already saw come in, right? We got Larry Stone Cold, who likes Josh Hart. Aaron Gordon. We'll take a look at him. Josh Hart, bro. Wow. What a hooper. Josh Hart's been going crazy. I'm going to add him right now to the list here under that New York and Brooklyn game. I had a look for Mikal Bridges as well. Not my bad. You were talking about somebody else. Who do we just have up that we were going to put in here? Tripping. Aaron Gordon. That is in that Denver game, and I'm sure he's going to play. Right? I don't think he's made the list, but we'll see. I'll look at his rebounds. There's a lot of them that he's got to get. I think it's 9.5 right now is what we were saying. I'm going to look at a couple other things here. Yeah, we got to look at. I mean, look, Josh Hart is all in, and this team still needs to win. We got to look at what might be the best play for him in this one as well, for sure. So I'll put him here on the upcoming, so we can look at him. I already got the obvious 76ers in there as well. They're going to be upcoming here in a minute. Let me put Josh Hart. Who even knows what to look at with him? He could do anything in this game. He could do anything in this game. It wouldn't surprise me at all, right? So I got Hart in here now. Keep coming with those if you got it. We can look at Javonte Green, Free sauce. All right, let's look at Javonte Green. I'll look at the Chicago game. I'm pretty sure everybody's sitting, right? So that is probably where that's coming from. Otherwise, I can't imagine you just spent some time looking at Javonte Green props, right? I don't know. You're thorough. You are thorough, Free sauce. I'm not going to take that away from you. Brandon Miller, we'll look at him, Ozzy, as well. Let's see. That Charlotte game, man. Yeah, I mean, he's got to be blowout proof, right? Like he's the only rook that's going to be getting time in this one. Look at his points. He has been going kind of crazy, right? And they've been playing him no matter what. They've been playing him a ton. So we can definitely look at that because I'm sure the minutes will still be there for our guy on that one. Let's see if we got a couple more here because, bro, I've been busy getting this Discord up. I've been busy trying to see as many of these props as I can. What's good? We the fifth. Let's see what we can do. So we'll look at Halliburton. They still got to win. You got to keep in mind who's got to win. So we can take a quick look at the standings as well, so we know who's doing what right now. I'll put Halliburton in there. We'll put him in there for PA as well. I did take a bet earlier here that was in the Discord, so hopefully you guys are already in there and you can see what I got there. But I did play Kelly Oubre under 1.5 assists to open up the bet channel for all my bets where they go. Scottie Pippen Jr. revenge game, hilarious. Just on pretense, I'll put it in that Memphis game there. Memphis for real, bro. Just starting nobody now. But we'll take a look, our first ever look on the show at Scottie Pippen Jr. for sure. We'll look at his points. I guess we'll look at his PA too. We'll look at his we'll look at his assist here in a second and go from there. All right. I'm gonna get a couple more in here because I'm still sparse, as we know. Scared OG boards and heart boards. I don't he gets every night. I know he's waiting in the shadows for me to end with 4 boards. Yeah, it's true. It's like Josh Hart getting on the train late might be a little bit scary. How's Scoot been doing? We'll take a look at that, Rockstar. Throw that in that Portland-Houston game. My God, Houston losing last night. Hopefully we stayed away from Jalen Green. I know a couple of y'all were talking about him, but he just doesn't have the same chutzpah anymore. We'll call it right, the Jewish word for gusto, if you will. So put 8. Well, I was about to put 8 in here because I feel like y'all just keep bringing me back to 8 no matter what. But I'll put Scoop points in. Take a look at that. Get a couple more in here. It's gonna be tough to use some of these tools, bro, honestly, because the fact that the data that we're going to be using is going to be about a lot of players that aren't necessarily going to be playing for some of these teams, right? So it's tough. But I got a bet here from G-Bad talking about the San Antonio game with our guy. So we'll put in Wemby in here. I think Wemby rebounds probably a look. The other play that I think I like from that game, and I'll show you real quick, is going to be, we'll put Wemby in here, is going to be probably Jokic in the first quarter. I know a lot of y'all like the first quarter bets. I'm going to be taking a look at that. I'll put Wemby PR in here because I think you're talking about points and rebounds. So I'll take a look at that here in just a second. Do we go back to the CJ? Well, CJ was huge yesterday. He and Trey Murphy, both dudes that I was talking about playing yesterday because of the spot up versus stack. I incorrectly called an under in that game, which kept me away from a lot of the props that we really would have liked. I also had an under Zion, which was unfortunate because he got hurt. And that's why he got that under more than anything probably. But we'll take a look at that. I got Scoot in there. Let's see. What's good, Adriano? Peace to you, man. Yep, that's true. Always got to look at the point guard playing against the Suns. So that's a good look right there. I'm going to throw in that Phoenix game at the end. We'll put Fox in there. We'll look at his PA. Sometimes people like to play De'Aaron Fox rebounds. I haven't really found a way to get a feel on that. Mobley PRA. I'll put him here in this Cavs game. I don't know that we're going to get to every single player on here, obviously, because how many freaking games we have. And I'm going to try to jump around between games so we don't get caught up on one. But let me throw Mobley in that game. I'll put his PR and I'll put his A in there because he put the PRA as well as what you said. So I can take a look at that. Okay. I like that. Brandon Miller still got his line in there. It can go up at all. So that's a good look right there. There's more in here. We can look at Trey, man. Get back to that Charlotte game. A couple of dudes that might be going off in there. How crazy is it that Charlotte is just giving all minutes to Trey Mann and Vasilije Micic, our boy, and they couldn't even crack minutes on that OKC squad. That's how deep that freaking team is. I'll put Trey in here. Trey Mann. I'll look at his PRA and just look at it all because he was rebounding hella right when he got to that squad as well. All right, I think we got some good ones in here. Tyler Hero do be scoring, and he has kept going. So while you still have my attention in this chat, let me put him in there as well. Getting at Tyler Hero in here. Hopefully a lot of y'all know to show up a bit early so we can get these going before I get into my bag, if you will. All right. Gary Trent is a dude I do not know how to bet. I'll be honest with you. I've been taking unders for Gary in all the right spots. I didn't look at that Toronto game injury report just yet. So let me put him in there so I at least have a reason even to look at Toronto. I'll put Gary in there, but I'm assuming if we're talking about PRA, we got some people out for Toronto, right? So let's pull up. Let me pull up my screen here and start sharing with y'all. Get some of this in here. I got StatMuse up. I got my advanced stats up. I got COURTSIDE PAL up. We're gonna start with props.cash. I'm starting to like Outlier a little bit more, y'all. I'll be talking about that, and later in the Discord today, too, I want to let you know we're gonna be getting up a lot of these cheat sheets. A lot of the stats and data that I'm using that is not on free websites, right? I'll get some of that to you guys, including the sheets that I put together. I can look at exactly what I want to look at as fast as I can. But all right, I'm sharing my screen now and bringing up what we are going to be looking at. Oh, present this. All right. Where are we at? Props.cash. So I do, like I said, I've been liking props. Outlier a little bit. Don't tell Props.cash. I want them to get mad at me. But Outlier has been looking real nice. I don't know how many of you guys use that one, but there's a couple people have been helping out with that. So, all right, we are going to be looking at now. I'm honestly just going to start right here, bro, because I just want to look at this injury report. All right, so here's who's playing for the Celtics. I like this: Pritchard, Springer, Hauser, Brissett, Cornette, Tillman, Ski, Mihailik. We got Kada, Jordan Walsh, Jason, Drew Peterson, all household names, I'm sure. With that, do we have any props up on? Let me go right to the books because I know things are moving fast out here, and we don't necessarily know if these things are pulling through to places like props.cash that quickly yet. Let's look at this Celtics game real quick. We can even just start here because I know there's a couple bets for this one. And we got to go to Army haircut. I hope you guys laddered Pritchard with me yesterday. That was very nice. All the way, I got it up to 5 for plus 450 on DraftKings. So hope you like that. Yeah, you like that? Let's see if DraftKings directly has anything as well. These are usually the two fastest that are the most common books across the country anyway. So this is why I start with these two. It's just like a place to see if they pull props through yet. So it looks like no, we still only have props for these dudes. Maybe there's Pritchard that picks up nothing yet, right? So we're just still looking at the three dudes who we know are going to get minutes for Charlotte, or two dudes rather. Well, I guess Trey Mann, yeah, as well. We don't have any Micic props up yet either. So, all right, let's see here. I like what I'm seeing from y'all right now too. Pritchard pick was a blessing. Yeah, I do. Honestly, I got to get better at using it so I can just go run right quickly through it with y'all. But like lately, Outlier's been looking pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie. But either way, props.cash is that's our main squeeze right now. So we can't be cheating on them with the side pieces. We'll keep it going with this with props.cash as our starting point, since that is what I feel most comfortable with at this point. So pulling up my tools right here. I'm gonna look at this Charlotte Boston game, see if anything comes through, and if not, we gotta choose a different one because these lines this is gonna be happening. These lines coming out. So Brandon Miller is a look that we have already in here. It's at 19.5 now, so it does look like it's jumping up a little bit. Doesn't look. I mean, maybe you can get an 18.5 still on DraftKings. Good look. Thank you for that. Definitely, please jump in here with injury reports as they come up. I'll do my best to look at them. I am loving the way that is pulling through automatically in Discord right now, but he's gone over 7 of his last 10. What's his minutes at? 36 minutes per game, right? All right, so we're at 36 minutes per game. The problem here with trying to pick this bet is he's now going up against backups. So that isn't the Boston defense that we're used to, right? If I pull up Courtside Pal, all these numbers that I'm going to see against Brandon Miller aren't really going to help me, bro, right? Because now we're like I just showed you who was available for that team for the Celtics. It's right here. So as soon as Pritchard comes up, I mean, we're probably going to get him at what, like 19.5 PA now that he's actually going to be starting and getting starter minutes. You got to consider that. But for B Miller, who he's going up against, let's see Jaden Springer, that's their best defender. He's probably going to be on Miles Bridges. Now we're talking about O'Shea Brissett getting some time on him. Maybe some Svi in there as well. I think we like that, right? And even if it's some Sam Hauser, we gotta like that for Brandon Miller. Like I can already tell you he's probably a play based on volume and who he's going to be going up against, and you can give him a nice uptick in his I guess matchup, right? The way you would put his matchup against this team. He's taken 16 shots a game over his last 10. I think that's a pretty good number because you see over the last 4, it's gone down a little bit, but over here it was way high. And I don't know if there was any dudes missing in that game. But let's see real quick. I'm going to pull this injury report. So we have the latest NBA injury report right on top of us and see what's good there. I need a way to capture some of these bets that y'all are putting in. I'm going to figure that out too because you guys got some good plays in here. Yeah, this is the report. All right, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. You got to look at everybody out for the Bulls. Look at everybody out for everybody. And I mean, if Denny Avdia doesn't play in this game, who plays in this game? I don't even name you the dudes that are behind all these players on the Wizards. Jordan Poole ruled out, by the way. I'm going down to Charlotte to see if anybody. So Nick Richards questionable, and then Grant, right? Yeah, Grant Williams also questionable. So those two dudes, if they don't play, shoot, man, like there's literally nobody down low for that squad, right? So starts to look at some of the dudes on Boston who are going to play as soon as we get those props in. I think we got to be looking at those backups. But for B Miller, there's nobody here that we can work with to be like, oh, when this dude's out, Brandon Miller does better. It's just a matter of is he making his shots. So why would he not make his shots against this team? It's not the same Boston defense that we're used to. Let's I mean, there's nothing to go with. Even like I guess yesterday, the fourth quarter, against this Knicks squad. Let me just pull that up real quick. I'm gonna pull up the game log from yesterday for this Boston team and see if there's anything there in terms of how poorly they played defense, like in the fourth quarter, right? I'm just trying to find these moments in time where guys that are backups are actually getting minutes. So if we look at advanced and we go to the fourth quarter, right? Who was getting minutes in the fourth for Boston? It was Hauser, Pritchard, Springer, and Svi. So this is how they were yesterday, right? They crushed yesterday. They had a net rating in the quarter of 87 plus with a really good defensive rating against a Knicks squad that was pretty much done trying, as we know. And then they almost came back and only winning by 9 when they were up by like 20 for the whole game. I'm not going to put much stock into that. I'm just going to tell you right now, Brandon Miller is a good play. If you want that, the shot attempts, let's say he takes 16 of them, he's shooting at that about 50%, 48% from the field alone, and the threes are what you like as well. He's taken 9 threes a game over his last 10, and his 3-point prop is at 2.5 for bad juice. Is that the play, or is it just the points? Is rebounds a good play for dude as well? And getting boards. Look at the PR. There's not much that I can work with, bro. I'm not going to spend too much time trying to figure out how to like get some edge on that. I'll just say that I'm expecting Brandon Miller to play 35 to 36 minutes tonight. I don't think there's a reason to take him out. If he plays the 35 minutes and he takes the 16 shots, then I think we're in a good spot. I do think that's a good spot for him. I'll put him on here because I do think that it's at least a good play. I'm just going to put it on here for 0.3 units because I don't have nearly as much to work with Miller. But I think that's a good look to kick us off. So let's take over 19.5 points in this game for B. Miller. And that is currently the best price we would get on that is minus 105 on MGM. If you got it, you can get a minus 108 on Caesars as well. So I'll put him in here with the green check and get him at minus 10. What did I say? 8 already? Well, 105. Math. Minus 105 on MGM. All right, cool. We're good. Minus 105 MGM, 0.5 on that. All right, we got to be careful here today. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like the best way to play today is for us to just be getting these props right as they come up and hit it. That's what happened with Pritchard yesterday. We got his number before we went in, and then we went moving forward. So the unit for you it should be about 1% of your bankroll. So if you're betting with about, let's say you allotted yourself $1,000 to play, right? 0.1% of $1,000 is $10, right? So a unit would be $10 of your total bankroll at this point. You could also do 0.2 units, or I'm sorry, 0.2 or 2% of your bankroll, whatever that is. You could do that as well. So maybe it's $20. Yeah. So pause. I know what you mean. that Peyton assist was hella good. All right, I see some people talking about Toppin in here. I think I got to get off this game. I don't have anything. I know Trey Mann might be a good look. I don't have any data to use here to help me understand who's going to be in, who might be out, or the like, right? So move off it because I just don't have anybody playing in it, and I do think it's going to be a good look for some of these guys like B. Miller. And I'm really mostly interested in taking like Peyton Pritchard. Maybe we get some Sam Hauser threes, that kind of stuff, right? So keep that in mind. Let me see what else we got here that's scrolling on the bottom, or should be in a second. Let's just get to that Philly Orlando game, right? Because I do have a bet in there that I put in that was given out on the Discord earlier here. First bet ever. Mazel tov to the Discord. All right, so here's what my first bet was, and then we'll look at the Maxey and Embiid combo that everybody wants to talk about. For Kelly Oubre, he looks like he's down to 13. He's still at 14.5. You can get a 13.5 for him. I think some people saw what I was seeing and they started taking some unders, right? I was trying to figure out which under I wanted to play for Kelly because there's a couple things going on here. And it's this is where I love to use StatMuse for these splits, right? So whenever you have a split of like with or without this guy, home versus road, whatever that split might be, then StatMuse is really easy to get that up. So I'm going to do Kelly Oubre. And by the way, fade Kelly O can mean any Kelly, right? Kelly O, Kelly Oubre, Kelly Olynyk, just fade Kelly O. So Kelly Oubre with and without, let's do Maxey first this season. Without Maxey, this is where it really affects him. Like JoJo does not affect Kelly Oubre, to be honest with you. If you look at the 55 he played with Maxey this season, he's at 29 minutes, 14 points, let's call it, 4.5 boards, 1.5 assists. Points in the minutes jump, right? 6 more minutes, 10 more points without Maxey, taking an extra 3 into the free throw line about 4 more times, taking a total of 7 more shots. So when Maxey is out, Oubre is a wonderful play. Maxey's in, he's not. You do the same thing with Oubre and Tobias and Jojo Embiid. Pretty good look there as well. And here's what I'm looking at, because I'm putting all three of them dudes in because they're all playing. So Jojo, Tyrese, Tobias, all three of those dudes in. Kelly Oubre has played 24 games with all three of them dudes in, right? You can see in the points he went over 4 out of his first 5, 5 out of his first 7 games this year with them, the first time playing with all three of those dudes like that. And he was pretty good, did pretty well, got a lot of points, got plenty, a decent amount of assists, not really, decent amount of rebounds. But that's why I was just like, all right, let's 3 out of 24 that he's gone over on the assists with these dudes, like getting 2, 3, and 2. Now, granted, one of the times he got this prop and he went over, he did it against the Magic. You can see right here on the 19th of January, last time he played with all three of these dudes, because Joel was still uninjured, right? Like, went over by 1, but got the little half right there. But I still don't love that. The potential assist for him, if you look down right here, 1.5 potential assists in his last 10 on the season with these three dudes in, 1.5 potential assists per game, right? So that's wonderful. We absolutely love that. Like, the most he's had is 4 to get, and he needs 4 to get 2 assists, and that's a little bit of an outlier. Against Orlando, when he did go over, he had 4 potential assists in that game. So I understand if there's some fear there, but I already got that bet locked in. Let me make sure I have it on here. I didn't put it in here. My bad. Oh yeah, I did. I got Kelly Oubre right here. Already got him locked in for a full unit for plus money. That's a huge part of this, right? Like, we get plus 120. I got plus 120 on 365, and that was a full unit bet for me. So that's scrolling on the bottom here, and make sure you check that out. That's the first one. I don't have any qualms with that. It's Orlando. They do not give up assists. And Kelly's not even taking, like, that's not his job. His job is to drive to the basket. He's, I believe, leading that team in drives to the basket. I'm going to pull up some tracking data real quick for Kelly Oubre on advanced stats on NBA. And I'm going to be giving a couple of tutorials on this stuff as well, with some videos to throw into the Discord, so that if you are new and you're not quite aware of some of the stuff I'm looking at here, there's going to be some really simple, like, 2-minute videos of, like, here's how you use this tool. And so this one right here is going to be advanced NBA stats, free to everybody, and tracking data is going to be super helpful. Look at drives, right? On drives, that's what I want to look at here for Philly. I'm going to go to the 76ers. And I'm going to just leave it up for the season. Non-players? No, I'm still on teams. That's my bad. Players, tracking data, drives, because he's shooting on all these drives, right? So I'm going to change this to team equals Philly and look at who's driving for this team. So drives per game, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Tobias, and then Kelly Oubre, right? Off of those 6 drives a game, he's taking 4 shots, right? Even if he is kicking it out like twice a game on that, doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be a good look for him. The pass percentage on his drives, that's what I want to show you. 16.4 pass percentage on his drives. So this man has one job. His job is to get to the bucket or hit the open 3 when he gets it in the corner. Look at his shot chart real quick. Pull that up on players shooting. So that's also going to be on NBA advanced stats. And this is the last thing I'll show you on it, because I know we got to keep this thing moving. I'm going to show you shooting for Kelly Oubre. I'm going to go to by zone, and I'm going to look at what's their name? Philadelphia 76ers. So I get all their players and where they're shooting from, right? Kelly Oubre, I believe, is taking the second most shots in the restricted area. Oh, after Maxey, who drives a little bit more, but almost as many as Maxey, more than Harris, right? Like, he's getting it and going. The other place he's shooting from, he's got a few corner threes and then the above the break 3, right, as well. So it's a few threes here. It's about 4 threes a game, and then just everything driving without passing off of his drives. You get my point. So I got Kelly Oubre in there. I love that for the fade. Kelly O, keep that going. Got that same energy. All right, let's see. Next up in this game, I already know we want to look at JoJo. I don't have a good reason not to bet Joel Embiid. I'm going to be completely honest. Sometimes I do not in this one. The assists were interesting to me. I thought maybe he'd kick it out against this team, but let's be honest. Like, as good as this Orlando team is at defending down low, like, Joel Embiid, who's stopping Joel Embiid on this team? What's his name? Wendell Carter Jr. Wendell Carter Jr. is giving up like 80 pounds to our guys. So for Joel, what was I going to bring up real quick? Yeah, I was going to show you the opponent shooting for this Orlando team. Like, I get that they're good down low defending in the paint, but let's see real quick. So down low in the paint, they are giving up very few shots. They're giving up very few makes. and their field goal percentage down low is actually not that bad. Like, they give up 66% right next to the basket. Like, I mean, come on, man. It's Joel, so that stuff doesn't matter to me. I thought maybe he'd kick out. Thought any of that stuff might happen, just not the case. The points are at 31.5. I mean, the 30 plus makes sense. Since he came back, he's still averaging the 20 shots a game, right? And he's actually had a pretty bad field goal percentage for Joel Embiid, 54%. On the season, his field goal percentage is 53%. So he's actually about what he's been making, because he is shooting a few more threes and he is taking a few more mid-range, as we know as well. So that does make a little bit of sense in terms of the field goal percentage being what it's at. He takes 22 shots, right? Like he has in his last, let's do last 5 real quick. So he's been back for 4 of these games. He's only gone over once against Detroit, right? So it is a little bit scary. Like, I'm still on like, let's wait and see kind of stuff for Joel, but I think the shots will be there for him. I do think Maxey might be a little bit better of a bet. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you do Maxey real quick, Tyrese Maxey with and without Embiid this season, why would I need that? Right, I would need that because he actually doesn't do that much better without Joel. In fact, with him, he gets a full assist more a game. He only scores 1 more point with Joel on the without Joel than he does with him, right? It's not even a full point, even though he's getting 2 more minutes. Like, and we've talked about this too. Look at his 3-point percentage with and without Embiid, right? 5 percentage points better when he's in there because he's actually able to spot up and not pull up off the dribble, which he's much better in those spot up situations. Not a great 3-point shooter off the dribble. So I actually do think threes are more likely for dude when he's got Joel. I mean, I know they are when he's got Joel out there. I also think against this Magic team, he's going to be really good making shots above the break. So let's put them real quick into Courtside Pal and see what I'm talking about. I don't need to show you Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid supersedes any of this stuff, right? Like Luka, Joel, Steph, Jokic, right? These dudes don't shy, even Shai Gilgeous. Like, it doesn't matter what the other team's defensive tendencies are, any of that. They supersede all that nonsense. But if we look at his shooting profile against Orlando, actually not that good. I keep forgetting Orlando's been much better against point guards this season. They've actually got the best defense essentially against point guards for their scoring and their shooting profiles. And for Maxey, he is somebody that is going to drive a lot more, and they are going to be a little bit better there than they are against jump shooters. So they are pretty bad against jump shooters. Is kind of the thing for this Orlando team. They're much worse on defense anyway against that. Let me pull up the last thing I'll show you here is Props Madness. Hopefully you guys are already familiar with Props Madness, but for points especially, it's really, really helpful, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to pull up this Orlando Philly game and go to Tyrese and look at his stuff right now. So if we look at where he's shooting from, above the break, right around the rim, and some floaters if he can't get all the way to the rim, right? That's where he shoots all his shots from. That's actually where they've been good. So I might be wrong about that. I think maybe, yeah, it's going to be more of a Joel game, to be honest, than it is Maxey. It's just that his props are so high. It could be both of them. Obviously, they both went for 30-plus last game against this team, right? I'm pretty sure. So that does make both of them to be able to do their thing make sense. But this is a perfect moment, bro, for me to bring on my guy. We got Chris B. Cappin in the house. What's good, man?
What up, Josh? How you doing, man?
Good, bro. Appreciate
you having me on the show. I appreciate you having me, man.
Nah, man, you're doing me a favor. I was telling everybody, I was like, look, this is a little bit of a cheat code here, because I'm just gonna get somebody who I know has some good plays on, because there's 15 games, bro. Everybody's playing. Like, was this overwhelming for you?
Absolutely. I immediately thought when I saw the slate come out, because I knew this was happening, at the beginning of the week, Josh. I went ahead and looked ahead, and how Sundays the last couple of years have been like 15 games. So then I checked and I was like, oh shoot, like we don't got games on Saturday. So that means Friday is probably gonna be busy too. And of course it is. So I was super overwhelmed. I mean, how difficult is it to cap every single team with all of the injury? We know like even on a regular day, like 50% of the league is already listed questionable, right? You gotta go through it. Right. You try to make plays and give them out so you can, enjoy the rest of your day. And it's like the injury report says no, almost like the Kembe Mutombo when you come with a play, no. Trying to swatch your play out the way,
bro. 100%.
Yeah, it's difficult, man.
Did you already have some plays today that you tried to make and then something came up and you couldn't make it anymore?
Well, you know what? When I was looking at the card last night and I saw the injury report come out yesterday, shout out to Underdog, because I'll be minus 100 units without him. But shout out to Underdog and always letting us know who's gonna play. When I was looking into it last night, I was thinking to myself like, oh, I see a couple low totals that I really want to attack, and I think some of the games that I want to attack are going to have some of those late injuries. So I see you got it. You got some of it pulled up right now, but
Yeah.
a couple of the ones I was looking at specifically were in those games. So I had already just told myself I would wait until the last minute
Yeah.
and then put the plays in versus trying to guess and figure it out beforehand.
Yeah. Huge facts. Yeah, that's 100% how I've been trying to do it. We like basically the best way that we've been doing stuff on this stream is like as soon as as soon as somebody's out, because we do this a little bit right before tip, we do get some of these numbers or these injury reports to like be finalized by the time like this is going on. So it's been like in the stream. Like yesterday we found Peyton Pritchard, a couple things like that, because it was like, all right, we know dudes are going to be out at this point in the game, blah blah blah. We finally get their props up coming right before game time. So anyway, let's get into a couple of things, bro. Let me give you the floor real quick and see if you have anything. We just put in Kelly Oubre under 1.5 assists for some plus money. And I was just telling everybody why I like that bet. We were looking at Joel versus Maxey. Did you have anything for that Philly Orlando game to kick it off?
No, I didn't. It's a difficult game. I do think Orlando's been on a heater. Not Orlando. Orlando's not been on a heater.
Right.
They started the week potentially getting as high as the 2nd seed and dropping as low as the 8th seed, and it's looking a little bit more like the 8th seed than the 2 seed right now with the losses. And it doesn't get any easier for them here. I looked at Philly, and they've kind of been a juggernaut. It started before Embiid came back, but they've continued to roll with him being inserted back in the lineup. And I want to say on the season, because we got to, Embiid missed so much time, I had to go back and look at it. It's something like 16-5 ATS with Joel Embiid in the lineup as a home favorite this season, winning by average of like 16 points. So I know Orlando, coming out probably, going to play their best game after back-to-back losses to Houston and Milwaukee, but it's going to be tough because both of these teams are, I think if you're Orlando, you're definitely fighting. And I think with Franz Wagner being rolled in here, that shows how much fight they want, to try to win this game and potentially get back to having home court here, Josh. But if you look at them on the road, this has been, one of the worst road teams as far as teams making the playoffs. They are such a night and day team on the road at home. I think they're the third best straight up team at home in the Eastern Conference behind only Boston and Milwaukee. So their bread and butter has been at home. And right now they're looking, on the outside looking in as far as hosting in the first round. So I think Philly will be, motivated to try to get in there. You have to be, right, Josh? Like if you're Philly, you want to like preserve Embiid as much as you possibly can and not have to like drag him through like a play-in game where, the whole season is on the line. So, I desperately think that. And it's a difficult game because if you want Philly, you got to, pretty much think that they're going to win this game by double digits with the, the spread being up about 7.5 if you find any value on either side. So I didn't play the game. I think I lean a little towards the over just because Orlando's defense, they kind of tricked us. Well, not even tricked us. They had a very strong, very weak schedule. They were at home taking advantage of the cupcakes. Number 1 defensive rated team about 2 weeks ago. And now you see them kind of tailspin over the last few weeks because they literally can't stop the 3-point shot, Josh. That's what I find out when I look at Orlando's defense. You can't really attack them on the interior, but if anybody could, it would be Embiid or Jokic, of course. And then they, just really struggle to guard the 3-point line, which is what we saw in the Milwaukee game, which is what we saw in the Houston game as well. So, with all that said, I think I lean a little bit more towards the over because the total is so low. I think I saw it at like 210, 211. And I do think that both teams are capable of, getting 107, 108 points here. Because Orlando's defense, like I said, a tad bit fool's gold because they've been playing against some of those weaker offensive teams. These teams do play pretty slow, but I think Philly has been trying to get out and run a little bit. You got Maxey, which is pretty good. We know what Maxey's doing, probably the most improved player of the year. So I think I lean a little bit more towards the over here, Josh, more than taking a side. What are your thoughts?
No, I was looking at props mostly for this one because if anything, I would actually lean to take it. First of all, it's definitely to the over, and I would lean towards taking Philly as well. I was just looking at a couple things here on some against the spread stuff, right? And you're totally right about everything you just said. What you were looking up earlier, the home favorite 19-11 this year against the spread for Philly. Right, that's gonna be one of the best cover percentages, and that doesn't include the fact that Embiid missed hella games where they were the home favorite, right? So, and not hella games because they probably weren't favored quite as often at home without him. But either way, there was definitely plenty of games without him in there. And then you look at as away dog for this Orlando team. Same concept. You got to kind of scroll down a little bit to find where they're at, right? Because they have not been good covering on the road as much. Although I guess they're a little bit closer to the cover, but they lose by 6 points a game. So that's the thing. Is like Philly's winning at home by about 8 points a game when they're favored. Orlando's only losing by about 6 when they're on the road when they're not favored. So there's not much there for me. I think, like I said, mostly what I was looking at, Chris, was just on props.cash, and I was showing everybody what's his name, Kelly Oubre, and we like to fade Kelly O on this show because we've had a lot of success fading Kelly Olynyk. But we still got a Kelly O that we can fade right now with Oubre. So that's
all the Kelly O's.
That's right. Just anybody Kelly O, they're out. So I was looking at his assists on the season when he's got Joel in. So I put Joel, I put Maxey, and I put Harrison. And in those cases, he's got 3 games out of the 24 he's played where he's gotten at least 2 assists, right? And so I think it's a lot of him driving to the hoop. We'll see him get maybe his points, but he's gonna have to hit some threes. So no, I'm kind of good on this game at that point. There was a couple other things. Did you have anything you wanted to look at? I want to let you just kind of like drive for a minute if you had a game that you bet you were putting in.
Yeah, so one of my favorite bets. So I did bet I bet the Pacers plus the 3, my favorite spread bet, the only spread bet that I played all day. So I did bet that, just kind of looking at the two teams on paper. I know that both of these teams will be motivated. They have a ton to play for, of course, as well. You get an Indiana team that is a tad bit more rested, and their offense has just been, in my opinion, it's the best part of their game. Of course, they're the second best offensive team over the last 2 weeks, and you got a Cleveland defense that typically hangs their hat on that side of the ball, and they've been struggling, like bottom 5 in pretty much all defensive categories. And I know,
Crazy.
When you go in and you kind of look at it, the Cleveland defense is really good against interior scoring, which is where Indiana likes to score. They don't shoot a ton of threes. They don't make a ton of threes. But if you go in and look at, so you would think Cleveland has the matchup advantage in that point, Josh. But if you go in and look at it, these teams have played 3 times already this season. Indiana shot the ball well against Cleveland, and at pretty much the 2 games that they did win. One game, I think they only scored like 100 points in, but I think it was the second game of the season. They went into Cleveland and shot like 44% from the 3-point line. The other game they shot like 40%. So I do think that they can take advantage of that Cleveland defense that's just been struggling a little bit, man. So I like Indy plus the points here. It's not a super big bet, but I did jump on them plus the 3 here. I do think that they want to stay out of that play-in tournament. And I understand, like I said, Cleveland also, they're in the 4th seed right now, and they definitely want to, desperately probably want to keep home court advantage as well. But I think Indy wants to get out of that play-in spot. I did listen to Tyrese Halliburton post-practice yesterday say that, this is a big game and they'll treat it as such. So I like Indiana to, even if they lose, I think it'll be about a point or 2. So I felt comfortable taking the 3 in that spot. Yeah. So that was my first one that I wanted to share with you guys. Yeah. And my favorite spread better tonight.
What do you think about the total in that game? Because I'll tell you why real quick. Because I had people asking. I know that's where I'm at. Because I had people asking about Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal. I know my one dude DB likes under for Pascal 20.5 points in this game. He and I kind of talked about that a little bit. Like I get it. My thing with this game is like I actually think it goes over, to be honest. Like if I'm looking at the way that I just had it up real quick. Oh, I'm already on it. If I look at the advanced numbers over the last 10, this is kind of what you were talking about. I was just showing everybody while you were talking. The defensive rating for this Cleveland team is at 118 over the last 10 games. Like this is mostly with Evan Mobley in, right? So that ain't working. Evan, that was the one thing I was talking about with DB that scared me is like you take a Pascal under. You're talking about Evan Mobley probably being the dude that's matched up on him. You got Miles Turner and Jared Allen, unless they do mix it up a little bit and put Jared Allen on Pascal because Evan Mobley's a little bit more versatile, and you got Miles Turner standing on the 3-point line. So they could mix it up that way. So it was a little bit of a pass for me on Pascal on his points on the under, but I was going to look at Tyrese Halliburton and his points and assists in a minute. So I was kind of waiting to see if you had anything for the over under as well. And that's a really long-winded way of me saying, which one do you like?
No, John, I mean, all excellent points by you. I think it's really hard for me to get there with an under in this spot, like you said, Josh. So even though it's a pretty high total, Pacers typically go over on the road. As road dogs, though, they are something like 12-13 or 13-12. So it's not anything like, definitive. And you just really never know which defense you're going to get from the Indiana Pacers. We've seen this team go on the road and slow teams down like the Oklahoma City Thunder. And then we've also seen this team go on the road and give up a ton of points to the Toronto Raptors, in their last game. So I never know what I'm going to get from them on the defensive end, but I know what I'm going to get on the offensive end. So to your point, Josh, if I'm looking at a player like Tyrese Halliburton, I think he's going to have to be highly effective in these games. I don't know if you looked at his his game log against this Cleveland Cavaliers defense specifically. But I
Yeah.
would go out and venture that, the guards are the ones typically having the better games and not the post players, down there with the likes of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. So I think his 3-point prop is probably in play with how bad that Cleveland Cavaliers defense has been recently. I want to say they're, if not the worst, bottom 3 defensive team from above the break, corner 3, all those, like, they're just giving up a ton of threes. And I think, that's, in my opinion, that's, trying to get Donovan Mitchell back inserted into a groove. He came back and he was still hurt. And I think he's still kind of, like trying to play back into, where he was as they ramp up for the playoffs. I also think it's a lack of Dean Wade, who's continued to miss time. And he is an excellent defender for this team. Yeah. When you don't have him out there, you got Gorgeous Niang, who is not an excellent defender. We'll just put it like that to be nice. Yeah. So I would probably be looking towards some Halliburton props, I think, here. I think he could have a big game offensively.
The assist seemed like a good play. I was just pulling it up on props.cash and just looking at his assists. Now, he's gone under a bit, but we've seen this assist prop at like 10.5, 11.5 hella. So it makes sense that this is a little bit lower based on, the recent numbers are not great for him. If you look at the potential assists, which is awesome that they got potential assists on here right now. He's been averaging about 14.5, 15. So the assists are a little bit scary. The threes that he's been taking, he's finally hit a couple of them. It's really bad juice for him to go over 2.5. You get minus 130 as the best number there. So it's not my favorite play here either. I think the points are live for sure against this team. Now, he's gotten the assists way more against them than he has the points, but it's a look. Let me get back to you though. Like, is there a couple other games? I don't want to keep you too long. I was just gonna see if you had 1 or 2 more bets, and I'll let you get on with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Josh. Man, I'm always we can talk basketball all night long, bro. But I'm looking. So the next game, two other games I really wanted to touch on real quick, and I haven't bet either one of them, but I just kind of want to see how things settle. And the next one I want to touch on just real briefly is that Charlotte and Boston game. So with all of that news that just came out, I'm pretty sure it broke during your show. Boston is setting everybody tonight, including Joe Mazzulla. Like, this team literally has their whole starting 5 out. And I was expecting, but the books are smart. They're not smart. I was expecting this total to drop. Like, I was hoping that it dropped. I had this one circled last night. It opened at 217. It's up to 218.5. And I was hoping it dropped back down to 217, but I'm totally fine. we talking about a point and a half, and I honestly don't think that's enough to scare me off. But I'm looking at the over in this game, Josh. There's a couple different reasons why. So first off, like, I don't really care who Boston has out there. They're gonna shoot a ton of threes.
Right.
Not gonna want to play a ton of defense. They want to get their numbers, right? This is a big Peyton Pritchard type game. You have it up. Like, Sam Hauser's right there, Luke Cornett, Xavier Tillman. Like, these guys are still going to want to go out there and score the basketball. So probably less defense. They are on the second leg of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights as well. And you get a Charlotte team that's actually the 12th rated offense. Let me say that again. You get a Charlotte Hornets team that's the 12th rated offense over the last 2 weeks. They're still playing slow, but the Charlotte team is actually number 1 in above the break 3 frequency. So they're shooting more above the break threes than the Boston Celtics, and they're hitting them at the 9th highest rate over the last 2 weeks. Okay. Charlotte is 6-1 to the over in their last 7 games. Those games are totaling about 226 points. So even though Boston's defense is slid, right? Like, they kind of take their foot up off the gas pedal. They have nothing to play for. They're now the 12th rated defense over the last 2 weeks as far as points allowed per 100 possessions. Mm-hmm. And they're not forcing turnovers. They're not giving up, and they're giving up a ton of offensive rebounds. But they're still the 5th best offense, right? As far as points scored per 100 possessions. They're shooting a ton of threes, of course, as well. Shooting the 6th most in corner 3 frequency. Charlotte is allowing teams to shoot the 2nd most from that same shot zone, and Boston's hitting at the 2nd highest accuracy rate as well. Charlotte won't. I don't think they're going to be able to slow down Pritchard, Hauser, Cornett. Like, this is going to be a typical up and down type game that I think both teams contribute to such a low total. We're talking about 109 to 109, right? Like, I think both of these teams will be able to get to that number here, Josh. So I really like this over. Like I said, I was hoping that it dropped a little bit, but wherever it is, 5 or 10 minutes before game time, I'll be locked in there. If I can get a 217, I'll take it. I do see one sitting on Caesars right now, but it's up to 218.5. So always, I know you preach it to your community as well, but always shop and get that best number, because each half a point could potentially matter as well. Yep. And then I want to take you to another game, as I want to go to similar storyline, but I'm looking at Toronto and Miami. Okay. And man, I can't fathom this game, ending around 218 points.
Right.
I know that Miami's a slow-paced team. I know that they're a defensive first team, but you got this team laying 15, 14 and a half points. And on the Toronto side, they've been gunning. Like, this team is running fast. They got Quickly back. They got RJ Barrett back. They have Kelly Olynyk, who is like, probably 2 inches taller than me, and I'm 6'2". Right. As center and with no backup center, so Bam's you eat. Like, this is not, Miami struggling against a good defensive team like Orlando here. And I do think because Toronto plays at such a fast pace, they can speed Miami up as well. Miami should have no trouble being able to score the basketball. And Toronto's just out there having fun, man, trying to, knock down shots. YMCA type game where they don't want to get hurt, so probably won't play a lot of defense. But these low totals, Josh, I think are something that definitely intrigued me a lot. We've been cashing on them. I cashed with Charlotte and Dallas earlier this week when they were in Charlotte. And I just wanted to share something real quick. So since the All-Star break, the Raptors game went quickly in. They are averaging about 229 points. And another trend that I looked at. So this is last 8 games of the season, Josh. Follow me. So since the 2019 season and after, game number 75 and after, right? So last 7 games, you got double-digit home favorites that are facing an opponent that has a 40% win percentage or less. So pretty much like, a team that's not in a really motivated spot, right? They're playing against a weak team in the last week of the season since 2019. Those totals are 26 and 16 to the over, which is 61.9%, right? So then if I just factor in that the total is lower than 220, because this is a 218 number, then I get 8-2. It's only 10 games since the 2019 season after game number 75, where you get a double-digit home favorite that's playing an opponent that has a 40% win percentage or less. 8-2 to the over here. Lock me in for both of those. This actually correlates to the Knicks and the Nets as well, which I like that one to go up and over. I think the Knicks being on the second leg of a back-to-back, playing a Nets team that they're kind of like the big brother to. I think they could still go out here and Thibodeau's he's at the controls here. So even if they're winning by 40, Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson are still going to play every minute of the game. Probably not rest those guys. No Isaiah Hartenstein, a little less defense there. Right. So I considered a Knicks specific team total over and just leaving the Nets out because I know that offense can be slow. It's really very dependent upon the 3-point shot. Yep. So I think the Knicks team total is like 110 and a half, something like that. I definitely think that they could get there. And the Mavs and Pistons also align as well. So these are 3 totals that I'm actually looking towards.
I like it.
Even if you isolate, I don't know if the Pistons want to come along for the ride either. I think Cade has been listed as doubtful, but the Mavs are still going to score. Luka went through shoot around. Even without him, I think Hardy and Dante Exum, like those guys are going to be able to score against the Pistons team that gave up almost 130 points to Chicago yesterday. So third game in 4 nights. Like I think the Knicks should score. Heat and Raptors, I think both of those teams could score. And then I like the Dallas Mavericks as well. So Knicks team total over, Mavs team total over, Heat and Raptors, I think go over the 218 and a half, Josh, outside of the Pacers. And all of these are smaller bets for me. Like anything I'm going like full unit on, but I like all 4 of those today. Yeah. I'm going to put a little something on all of those.
No, it's smart. I feel all that. The one thing I would say is that the Hornets, and this was something that somebody put in the chat, which makes sense. DB was talking about this tweet right here, where the Hornets starters expected to play limited minutes on Friday, which is like, what? Like the starters for the Hornets are backups. What are we talking about here? I was ready to start. You really brought it to my attention. I'm really glad. Like I love talking to my dudes who do sides and totals because you always give me a point that I'm like, wait, I can use that for player props as well.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. That's why I tune into your show, Josh.
Facts, bro. That's 100%. And so what you gave me with the Boston Charlotte stuff was above the break, right? That's where they've been bad, honestly, all season in terms of Boston giving up points above the break and to point guards who shoot from the pick and roll spot, all that stuff. This was about to be a stereotypical, wonderful Vasilije Micic game. I was about to just go ahead and take my boy over 11.5 points. He's always coming through for us. And now if he's a starter, so I'm like, is he going to sit some minutes? I don't know, right? And that scares me about that one. The only thing I would ask you about too before you dip, because I do want to ask about this. I still don't know, but I was looking at that New York Brooklyn game, and I pulled up these player props, and I saw Mikal Bridges at 13.5 points, and I think it's still at that. Yeah, so it's
Jesus.
at 13.5.
My man was supposed to be an all-star last year. He down to 13.
I mean, is that not
Jesus.
crazy, bro? If at the beginning of the season, when people were putting their most improved bets down on Mikhail, I was like, yo, he's gonna have a prop at 11 or 13. Like, they'd be like, that's crazy. Give me my money back.
I'd be
right?
like, you're lying, Josh. You went into the future. You looked at the wrong data.
That's what I'm saying. You mixed him up with somebody else, and that's where he's at. Like, yeah, you could be like, you thought it was Miles Bridges, but it was Mikhail. But with Mikhail, like, I was starting to wonder, is he gonna do his Iron Man thing where he sits after like the first quarter so he could at least get that in that he played, and then he gets the streak to keep the games played in a row streak going. That was a whole controversy earlier this year with people who were like, somebody gave out the bet. They were like, yo, Mikhail's going to play under. And all these professional bettors got hella mad at him because they're like, why'd you give that info out? I was about to put all my money on this under. And now they took it off the board, whatever. So I don't know if you heard anything about Mikhail not playing minutes this game.
I did not, Josh. I haven't seen anything from my Brooklyn sources at all.
Right. That's what I was hoping you'd have, but all good, bro. I appreciate you dropping that. Will you run through those bets that you had real quick, and I'll let you get back to it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So favorite spread bet of the night is the Indiana Pacers. I think you can still get a 3 out there, but I did take them plus the 3 against the Cleveland Cavaliers, understanding that they are on the road. And both teams are, playing meaningful basketball tonight. But I just think about, like I said, if I had to go Cleveland defense or Indiana offense, I'm taking the number 2 offense over the last 2 weeks over that number 27 rated defense.
Yep.
So Indiana plus the 3 and us plus the 3. And then the over, like we just talked about, I like the over, the specific over for full game between Boston and Charlotte, whatever that number settles at. If you can get a 217.5, definitely, I'm locking that in. And then as far as the other two, give me the Knicks team total specifically. I think Brunson is listed as probable. I think he's going to play.
Yeah.
So give me their team total. I think it's 110.5 to go over. And then Dallas, man, that's kind of self-explanatory against. I think even Duren now is listed as doubtful, and he even with Duren, they couldn't protect the paint. Like there's this, kind of at least the way I view, them is like Duren is this big, strong guy that like protects the paint and like block shots, and he's not. Like he's a good rebounder, but they give up a ton of points in the paint. Almost how like I view Wemby. Like the Spurs, they'll give up a ton of points in the paint as well. Their 3-point defense is good, but they give up a ton of points in the paint as well, even with Wemby being out there. So so Knicks team total over. Give me Dallas team total over.
Okay.
And Toronto and Miami full game over, and then Indiana plus the 3. 4 bets for me today. Okay.
Got it. I like it. Yeah, we got Indy. I'm putting that in the chat for y'all too. So you got Chris's bets in the comments. Indy plus 3. We got over on 217.5 there in Boston, Charlotte. My bad. I got to update that comment. And then, we got the New York team total over, and Toronto at Miami over, and Dallas over by their team total as well, which I like that a lot too. Yeah, Dallas is one of the nicest teams in the league right now, bro. It's crazy.
Cooking.
I finally trust them going into the playoffs.
You and me both. Even without Kyrie, I still think that they'll be able to score the basketball against the Detroit team. It's 1-2-3 Cancun there, Josh. Like they just want to go have fun at this point. And I get it.
Yeah,
it's been a brutal season for them.
Brutal, and you're so right. I thought Jalen Duren. I was going to look at the Detroit like team stuff, and they were going to be one of the best teams down low. Like, nah, there's still tissue paper down there. Honestly,
it's real
safe stuff. But bro, I appreciate you coming on, man. This was really helpful, bro. I'm gonna get into a few more props with these dudes and dip out. But yeah, real quick, you got a couple things to plug too, right? You doing a show this weekend, or you're gonna wait till next week? You think?
Yeah, no. Appreciate. I just want to say appreciate the opportunity, Josh, for sending me the invite, man. I said, I love just like you. I love talking NBA. So whenever you need a guest, just let me know. And as long as I got the time, I'm always down to come on the show. So thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, if you guys want to follow my work, you can follow me over on Twitter at CrispyCap 2 P's 2 N's or X or whatever you want to call it. And then also on YouTube as well. I do a morning show where, I kind of go over the games and give out, looks, try to beat the lines, especially, towards the end of the season where we've collected enough data. And of course, now we're at the end of the season. So yeah, I'll do a show probably on Sunday morning, early Sunday morning, based on the information that we do have. And then if we, if the slate's good enough, then I'll go back and do another live stream right before like at 5 p.m. Eastern, before the time as well. So appreciate you having me on, Josh. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to the chat, man. And thank you for having me on again.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, definitely give Chris a follow, man. We'll talk soon, bro. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro. Appreciate you, man. Best of luck tonight.
All right, man. Yes, sir. That was our guy. Appreciate him coming on, man. I needed a little bit of help, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like my guy helps with a lot of good looks, and it's interesting that I was really ready to just go right to Micic and stick with that Brandon Miller bet. Now I'm a little bit worried about that Brandon Miller bet. Now that we had it correctly brought up that we got some injuries that we got to worry about in that game. So I'm gonna get back to these player props. I knew Chris was gonna help me with something, and it was that look in that Charlotte game, and I just can't do it right now, to be honest with you. So let me get back to what we're doing here. I'm gonna put some stuff up. So I'll leave the Brandon Miller bet in there because honestly, like, bro is taking 7 threes from above the break against a team that is not defending above the break threes at all right now in that Boston squad, and they're going to be having Peyton Pritchard up top trying to defend the 3-ball. So I'm going to leave Miller in there because we get him at -105. The Trey Mann stuff, like I can't buy into 2 starters at this point, right? If anybody's coming out, or if anybody's not coming out for this Charlotte team, it's going to be Brandon Miller as the rook, who they just want to get that run in. But at this point, like, yeah, anything else for that game is going to be a little bit scary for me until we get those Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser props coming out for that squad. So let me keep it moving here with y'all and look at the next thing I want to talk about. I did look, if you want to take the points for Joel, we were looking at that Philly game. Like, I get it. If you want to take the points for Maxey, I get both them dudes. They both played really well. I prefer just in this one, for me, it's an under for Kelly Oubre's assists. And like I said, Joel, he's probably the play in this game, honestly. But either one of them could do it in a way that I'm a little bit off it. And I don't know that there's going to be that many points that we can just take both of them to get 30 once more in this game. So I'm a little bit off that. Let's see here real quick. That was Chris B. Cappin. So if you guys want to follow Chris B. Cappin, 2 P's, 2 N's in Cappin, as he always says when he gives his sign off. So check that out. I'm going to keep moving through here so we can get a couple more in. I'll go a little bit long for y'all too if there's other bets that people want to look at. But he always, I would watch his show in the morning for some insight. Like, dude was already looking at what he's going to do, right? Like, he's prepared. He's got a plan. And that's the best thing about Chris, is that he's looking at the games ahead, like a week ahead, 3 or 4 days ahead. So he knows what our team's tendency is going to be right now, right? I'm going to keep going with that Cleveland Indy game for a sec. I know we had a few other bets in here that we wanted to look at. Was there any more for that one so I don't miss it? Indy Cleveland was where he started, so I just wanted to touch on that game for a sec. So we got Halliburton and Mobley. Halliburton on the assists, it is scary, right, for Halliburton's assists right now in that Indy Cleveland game. If we look at him in courtside pal, I'm gonna put Halliburton in here and see what his likelihood to dime up against this Cleveland team is. And I'm not feeling like it's going to be great. So assists for homie on the playmaker stuff here. Yeah, they're limiting his playmaker profile to the 19th fewest assists per game. He has been going over against them is the thing. So if I pull up Tyrese real quick, which I'm sure he's somewhere around here, Tyrese assists, and I look at him head to head. He's gone over in 5 of 6. Now he's gotten over 10 in almost all of them in this season, in all of them, all 3 games that they've played, which I believe one was in the play-in. If he's getting against some of the potential assists. He's at 17 potential assists against them this season, though, right? Like, yeah, it's probably about 17 on the potential assists in the 3 games that he's played. He got 12 on 14. If we dumb this down to the last 10 real quick for Tyrese, he has not been going over. He's averaging 8.8 during that time frame, and his potential assists are at 14.5, right? Which is certainly low. Let's call it that. So with that in mind against this squad, I think I'm straight pass, even though I do like the over a bit in this game. I got to pass on Tyrese in this one. The Evan Mobley stuff, I got to look at that real quick. I don't want to interrupt Chris earlier when he was talking about what I really want to know about this game is what are the matchups like when they play. So if I pull up the box scores, I can look at individual matchups in each of these games, which is really, really, really helpful. So I'm going to go to Indiana's advanced box scores, and I'm going to change this to versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let me pull this back up so y'all can see the bottom line. We got a couple bets in there on the bottom line. Everything's going to be on the description of the video that's pinned in the comments of the video that gets pinned as well. So if we look at the last game, this one went hella under, right? So it was a 103-108 game. And who do we have running in this one? We had Okoro, Niang. So we were missing some dudes for Cleveland. They were missing Mobley and Donovan Mitchell in that last one. So that makes a little bit more sense. Siakam went under without Mobley in there. So he probably got matched up. And we got Tyrese, still got the 12 dimes and only the 14 points. So now I'm starting to lean towards an under for Tyrese's points, if I'm being completely honest. He took 14 shots in this game and got 14 points. Looking at his points before I look at anything else for him, That's got me thinking. So points against this team head to head, he has only gone over 18.5 twice this season, twice last season, right? So 4 out of 6 games since last season, he's gone under this point total. The amount of shots that he's taking, and these are close games. So 14 shots a game, which is what he took last game, right? The threes for him against his team, he's making 2 a game. He's taking, how many threes is he at? 6.5 threes per game. He took 9 in the last one, still didn't hit very many. That was one thing about Cleveland. Like, they've been doo-doo on defense. Like, the last 10 games, they've got the 4th worst defensive rating. But if you go to team opponent and you look at their 3-pointers that they've given up, they're not that doo-doo. So I'm going to do last 10 games for them on team opponent stats and look at 3-pointers made, and they're still this is the last 10 games. I guess they are a little bit worse than I thought. I thought I saw them higher up. Oh, I'm tripping. All right, I can't take an under. I thought that they'd been good on D against the 3. They're still 5th worst in their last 10 games defending the 3-pointer. It was probably for the season that I was looking at, because on the season, they're 10th best at limiting a threes made to the other team. Still giving up a decent percentage. Honestly, they give up a decent percentage from 3. So the threes could be there for him. I think it's probably a little bit of an outlier for Tyrese that he went under the threes in this last game against them when he went 1 for 9. That's got to be considered an outlier. So on the season against this team from 3 this year, it's 4 for 7, 4 for 12, 5 for 21, right? So like 26% from deep for Tyrese against this Cleveland team, not really giving up much threes, to be honest with you, even though they are a better defense down low than they are up top. So it's a little bit scary for me to take an under, but I would be leaning under with Tyrese. I'll take a quick look at Caris real quick, Caris LeVert, because that was brought up as well right there. So GC, I got you on that one real quick. We'll look at that and keep it moving here. So yeah, you already know anybody that sees Peyton Pritchard's props come up, jump in that chat immediately, and let's look at that real quick. Caris LeVert been going over on the points in the last 5. He's at 18.8 points per game. I'm assuming the games that are lower scoring are the ones where Donovan's back, right? So let me do with Donnie. Okay, so this is still head to head. Apologies. All right, in the last 10, we're looking at. And yeah, you might get a little bit more guard heavy with that team, but in the last 10 with Donnie Mitchell, he's still putting up pretty good numbers. 6 for 10 in terms of over 12.5. That does feel hella low, doesn't it? Let me look at the assists real quick. Now Luka's unlikely to play. Come on, fam. Come on, guys. We got to play basketball still. We have 2 games for a reason. What are we doing here? The minutes for Caris with Donnie are at 29, so we put him at 29 or 30 for tonight. This is still last 10, right? Yeah, last 10 with Donovan. On the season with Donovan, still averaging above this number right here at 13.8 points per game. The head-to-head is at about 15. I can see why this is like right on the cusp, honestly. If we look at dimes, not diming up against this team. In the last 10, yeah, once we put Donnie back in there over these last 3, he's gone right back down on the assists, playing teams that are pretty good at not very good at limiting assists either, to be honest. They're bad. So like the assists might be a look for him. What about the boards? Can we put those with the rebounds? Damn, yeah. Yeah, we could look at Suns. Man, I never know, though. That's the problem, Dylan. I never know which Sun to pick. I was talking about that in the Discord earlier with everybody. I never, ever know. Which, by the way, can I just give myself one more sec to show y'all once more? We do got the Discord live. For those of y'all that jumped in, get in here and let's talk about these plays together, man, because we're having a good time already. We got a good amount of people coming in on one day, bro. I appreciate y'all. So keep coming through if you do want to talk about this stuff. But this is where I was talking earlier about this Cleveland game in general, and just going like, damn, what's going to happen with Donnie Mitchell rather? I'm not totally sure. So that the care stuff or the rebounds, I think the assist under is a good play, whereas the points over might be the play, right? If you look at head to head with Donnie in there, he's still getting them, playing 31.5 minutes against this team, taking 12.5 shots. So if I need him to get 12.5, take 12 shots and he's making 5 of them. With a couple threes in there, not really any assists. I think 5 for 10 is a pretty good number, right? Like, I think, for Caris, yeah. Again, to the free throw line 4 times against this Pacers team, who will give it up from the free throw line, by the way, which is why I like to take bigs against them sometimes in their points, because that they give up so many free throws. But this is super high for Jared Allen. Let me pull up Evan Mobley, because that was a look that we had earlier. And the points, the rebounds are now up hella, as you can see. Because he got way over in that game against real quick, against Memphis, but not really over in these other ones against Indy. It's a little bit tougher. So we can pull up Evan Mobley real quick over here, but I don't know that off top. I'm just going to have something for him against this Pacers team. You look at points. Okay, he does score against this squad. If we look at rebounds against this team, he is a better rebounder. Let me put Jarrett Allen in there real quick too. Jarrett. Let's see what's up with Jarrett Allen. As far as his Courtside Pal, which is super helpful. I tell you guys about this every day, so hopefully you already know. But if you're not familiar with Courtside Pal yet, really good for player type versus team rather than just player position, right? So rebounds for him, yeah, still top 10. They're pretty much the same there. If you look at shooting, yeah, he's still going to be pretty high up there. They're pretty much the same player, which is another reason why it's always a pain in the butt to try to figure out which of these dudes is going to get his. The assist would scare me for Mobley. I don't know why you would throw those in there, to be honest. He's at 2.5. I know he's done that against this team, but his potentials are 6.5 to get 3. It's not terrible, but it's not something I want to bank on with Evan Mobley, to be honest with you. So I might be out on that, even though it's going to be a close game, and he has been going over pretty consistently, it looks like. And if we put Donnie Mitchell in here, that's the other thing. Donnie Mitchell being in and out has really just kind of like dicked this in terms of being able to figure out what's going to happen in this one, because he has been in and out versus this team and others. So I'm going to move on from this game because nothing's really like calling to me from this one, to be honest with you. But let's see if there's couple other things in here that we like. I know we were talking about going to the Suns game. I hate betting on the Suns. What's good? Yeah, sure. Good to see you, bro. But Dylan wants to look at the Suns real quick. Let me pull them up. I think we had another couple bets in here. We're talking about De'Aaron Fox, so I can at least look at that while I'm in there. We'll get a couple more going here. I know it's already late, but I wanted to get Chris on the show to help out, man, because my research was limited today with getting everything ready for the Discord and all that. So we'll be back for sure to close out the regular season on Sunday with all this stuff. I'll be way ready for that, and I'll have a video out tomorrow night on Saturday night for Sunday, so I can get ahead of that. Probably need 2 videos, but Nurk was the first look, and I know DB brought him up in the Discord earlier too, with Nurkic being a look that we might go with. For Nurk, that's a little bit scary. I always like taking unders for Nurkic, to be honest. We're talking about him versus Domas. If we talk about head to head, is he getting time versus this team? 27 minutes, whereas on the season he's at 27 minutes. So that adds up, right? Head to head, he's playing the same amount of minutes as he is. Okay, yeah. So like 0.4 fewer in this matchup. The rebounds at 15-1 game. Let's make sure Sabonis was in that game as well. Let's do with Sabonis. Yeah, okay, that was with Sabonis, which dates back to last season for Nurk on the boards. For Nurkic rebounds, man, yeah, this is a tough look. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't have much for that one right now. I'm not gonna spend too much time. This is what I want to look at a little bit more real quick, and I know that this stream is a little bit different than the other ones that we had, but yeah. All right. Cool. Let me pull up. Yeah, I do want to do more stuff with Chris, but the problem is like this stream has become player prop heavy, right? And so yeah, average 13 board chances over his last 5. Yeah, that's not very many, but this is what we were looking at the other day for Mobley. That's why we're off that. I'm off of Nurk for now, and I'm looking at D Fox. And the thing about KD and Book and Bradley Beal is like what I always tell you guys with those dudes is like they do so much stuff that's similar that the way that I break down data and where they're shooting from and matchups and all that stuff is like, damn, like, I don't know. It's pretty unpredictable because they do the same stuff. So it always leads me to the same answer for all 3 dudes, and all 3 dudes can't go off every time, right? If we look at D Fox though, so here's what some people were talking about. I know somebody brought up D Fox because of how bad this Suns team is defending point guard. So even if you just start on Courtside Pal, and I put up D Fox for a minute, and I go to his stuff. Let's look at his scoring against he's on sack against the Suns. And Phoenix, not bad at his shooting profile, middle of the pack. His scoring profile, a little bit worse than middle of the pack. 9th most points per game to his scoring profile. For the assists, 17th right there. For the rebounds, they're a good rebounding team. That's the only thing they do well. Not the only thing, but you get what I'm saying. The points for Fox against this team real quick. What's he done against them? Let's pull up points. 28.5, dog. That is a lot of points. And he has gone over twice this season against them. And 3 out of the 4 games he's played, because they had a play-in tournament game, he's gone over against them. So that's why his shit is so high, which does make sense for the way the type of stuff he's going to do against them. If I pull up point guards in general, I'm going to pull up FanDuel Fantasy Pros, which is it's good for it's at least good for points for position defense versus position rather than just the profile. So I look at point guards on the season for Phoenix. They're giving up the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, ninth most points in their last like 15. I think it's a little bit more. Not even. No, it's not that big of an advantage necessarily for D Fox anymore. Let's look real quick. This is him playing Phoenix. He's played 33 minutes in the last 10 against them. If you look at the last 1, 2, 3, 4 this season against them, he's actually probably at about 35 and a half, 36 minutes per game against this team. Taking, let's see, on this, damn, look at these field goal attempts, 31, 24, 17, 24. So the only time he didn't go over is when he took 17 against them. And in that game, he still had 23 points. So a little bit shy. But did he get free throws in that game? Yeah, he's gotten this season against them 10, 10, 4, 5. So about 5 free throws per game as well. And as far as the threes, 10, 12, golly. Yeah, because they're a bad above the break. I mean, it makes sense. It's not a bad look. It's tough to bank on 29 points, but it's about the amount of shots he's taking, which is this season 25 shots to get 28 and a half points. It's not a bad look. It's just a little bit high for my blood. It is the it is that. Yeah, my bad. The comment in the chat was whack for the Chris bet. Chris bet on 4 different things. He bet the let me pull up my shit so I can try to read it better for you. What it's supposed to say is Indy +3. Then you've got over 217.5 in Charlotte and Boston, playable to 218.5. Yeah, that's a super dumb comment. My bad. Should just delete it. I should put the user in timeout. And then he's got the other 2 were Detroit not to cover, but I would be careful now that we know Luka's not in that game, right? So if Luka's out, then that does make that a way less stable bet. I'm sure that's what we got coming up here, right? Did that get officially listed on? Yeah, he's unlikely to play, right? So yeah, so now that's a little bit scarier for the Detroit bet. That came in right after he dipped. So okay, I got you. Let's get to something that somebody keep coming at me like that because I need to be reminded. Pulling up Chicago. Let's look at Javonte Green. That's probably a good look if everybody's out. So we know. Oh, do we not have props? Maybe it didn't pull through. Let me refresh this real quick and see if it pulls through on props.cash, which is where we start whenever we do these things, right? Chicago. That's annoying. That's mad annoying. Let me see real quick about Javonte though. All right. So who's out for this team? Everybody, right? Pretty much everybody. Let's look at the depth chart for what that's going to mean for this squad real quick. For Chicago, playing Washington, so already a good look in and of itself. So we got Vooch out, Caruso out, DeRozan out, Drummond out, Dosunmu out, everybody out. So depth chart for this squad is going to be Kobe White, Javonte Green, Torrey Craig, whatever a Dalen Terry is, and we'll get some Javon Carter minutes in there as well. So Javonte is probably going to play, like 36 minutes in this game? That would make total sense. Let's look at Javonte's game log real quick. Javonte last 10 games. Now, it's not going to be great. Let's be very clear. It's not going to be great, and I don't have a number that they've given us. But he's gotten 30, 31, 22, and 33 minutes in the last 4. So even with those dudes playing, he's gotten hella minutes. So the rebounds are what he's been doing. Golly, right? So in the last 4 games. In the last 4, he's at 15 and 10. Sheesh, that's a good find, honestly. So what's he going to be at for his prop? I don't even know if this is going to have it, but this is a really good tool, once again, in the description of the video. It is Betting Pros, and this is where we can see what dudes' props have been at lately. So let me see. Is it with the A? My bad. Javonte Green. They might not have it, though, because he doesn't always even get closing line props because, okay, yeah, so he got no line a bunch, right? Because if he's not starting, then they don't give him props. He started versus Detroit. They gave him props, or they just got it in last second. If we look at the boards for him, man, 6.5. He's been going over pretty consistently too. So yeah, I think Javonte is a good look. I don't have a number for him, right? So that's tough, but let me see if it just didn't pull through yet. I'll go to Chicago on FanDuel. Yeah, we still don't got anything up because dudes were officially ruled out. Can you imagine what it's like to be at the books right now and just scrambling to put up these props because you don't know what information to use? Like, that sounds stressful, to be honest. I would say if you get Javonte Green and what his recent numbers have been at, bro, take it. Javonte Green on the rebounds, I would take that to like 6 or 7.5. Make sure you get good money for 7.5. And then for the points for Javonte, what are they going to make it? 15 over the last 4, but that's got that 25 in there. I think, yeah, 15 is still probably pretty close to even. I would say like 12 or 13. I would say if you get like 11 or 12.5, you're still at a good spot for Javonte. If not, I'm kind of off of that. Let me put that on the bottom line too, so I can just be very clear about what I'm saying. And Javonte's name is spelled with an A. Javonte Green, I'm going to say over 6.5 rebounds for sure, because I can say that with confidence. And then I'm going to say over 11.5 points, because I can also say that with confidence. Those are going to be good, enough of an edge on both bets for Javonte so that I can feel good about it. So just to put that up a little bit more clearly right here for you, what I got for Javonte is right here. Come on, computer. All right. This is what I would look at for Javonte. It's all leans because we don't have official numbers for him. But this, not that, this. Oh, this is not supposed to be scrolling. Hold up. Apologies. All right. We got Javonte right here. And I do think that's a great look by you, Free Sauce. If we get something from him, that's a really, really good look. Honestly, if we get those numbers where we want them, then I think we're good to take them. So keep all that in mind. I'm going to close some of these browsers tabs so I can, if I got to open them back up, I will. But I want to keep going here for at least do another like 15 minutes so I can get some more bets with y'all. So definitely jump in the comments if you do have something. I know I had a couple that people still didn't look at, so let me try to get back to it. Chris coming in definitely it distracted the hell out of me, as you can obviously see, but I really like hearing what he has to say. So we didn't look at Josh Hart yet. Brandon Miller was a bet, but it's a little bit scary. I still only half a unit. If he does come out in the second half, I don't know what to say, man. Then it is what it is. But that is a good look either way. What I want to make sure I get to here. So I passed on Mobley and Halliburton. Josh Hart, I'm going to look at real quick because I don't think I gave him a legit look. And then we can go to Wemby and Nurk and probably call it. Now, if anybody has something in there that they protest and they want to hear more, hit me with it. No, we do not bet on Jabari Smith anymore. My bad, bro. He had the best matchup he could possibly imagine yesterday against the Jazz, and he shot the ball twice. Like Jalen Green and Jabari Smith probably are Ime Udoka's shithouse, if I had to guess. Like they're both somewhat banned from getting minutes. Like, why would Jalen Green sit the whole second half? I don't know, but I got to stay away from both them dudes. So just be careful with that. Real quick, let me do something real quick. My bad. Gonna come. All right. Keeping it moving. Like I said, all these bets that I still want to play. Save that. All right. So I'm moving back to Brooklyn for a second so I can look at Josh Hart. Rebounds and assists, it's just so high at this point. Yeah, I remember that's why I stayed away from looking at it too closely. Like, yeah, he's always going to be a good bet for rebounds and assists. It's at 18.5 for a damn guard. I mean, I guess he's a small forward, but come on, man. We're getting crazy out here. So I'm passing on Josh Hart. I can take him off of there. Yeah, for sure. They 1, 2, 3 Cancun, big time for those dudes. I was thinking about an under for SGA, Nando, just because we got Scottie Pippen on here, Barrett. Don't even worry about it. Jalen Green and Jabari out. SGA would be an under if you're going to play him for sure. I did say I was going to look at Scottie Pippen Jr. Somebody asked me about that, and now we got Baron Dam coming in here as well talking about it. I think we got to at least look at it because I happen to know Baron as a savvy NBA props player. So let's take a look at it real quick. For Scottie Pippen, is he going to get some minutes in this LA game? I liked Rui earlier as well. He's at 5.5 boards, or no, that's rebounds and assists. So you can probably still get 4.5 boards. But yeah, the juice is gone from him there. He's gotten the second most rebound chances against this team. So if you put the RA in, yeah, it's still minus 133 for 5.5 rebounds and assists. But I think that's probably a good play too. I will look at Zubac because it keeps getting brought up. And so let's close it out and let's just be a little bit more clear about what we're doing here. So we got Javonte Green. He's on the bottom line is for how I would play that. I'm going to look at Zubac, double. I'm going to look at Aaron Gordon because I was brought up hella long ago, and I'm going to look at Wemby. I think I got to call it. My apologies, y'all. But I'm going to get back into the Discord in a little bit so that I can get some office hours going, and we can get in there and get some of the late games as well. So just got to walk the dog. If we're talking about Scottie Pippen, though, what's he been at? Scottie Pippen legacy game tonight, 17.5 points. There is nobody playing. I think Jake LaRavia was the dude that went off last game, right? Yeah, he went off last game. It's tough. Man, I really don't know what to do with this dude. He's at 20. Okay, so in the last 3, he's finally, we can probably predict 32 to 35 minutes for dude. I don't know why he wouldn't play that. There's nobody else playing. In the last 3, he's at 15, 15, and 16 shots per game. To get 70% is terrifying. He's shooting 45% right now in these last 3. Yeah, still 45%. Terrible shooting game against San Antonio. If he's going to try to score from down low, that's not going to be it. Let's take a look at him on Props Madness real quick, because I'll be honest with you, I have not been paying close attention to Scottie Pippen Jr. this season, which I'm pretty sure is why Baird brought it up too in the first place. Scottie Pippen, got him at 16.5 at some spots. Yeah, he's doing typical Scottie Pippen stuff. So down low, right next to the basket, 43% from above the break. The above the break stuff is where you like it. 29, their second worst above the break team is the LA Lakers. So that is a good point. Let me look at the threes right quick. 1.5 for minus 142. Is he going to take 15 or 16 shots is the question. I think he's a pretty good look, though, with where he's at. Minus 106 for 17.5. And that's the only place that has it. Caesars seems to be the only place that has Scotty up right now. But he's at 15 shots a game in his last 3. So 15 shots he's made in the last 3 games. He's also shot 9 of 16. That's a good. 4 of 15 is bad. 7 of 15 good. So about in the last 3 or 4 games, 3 games he's at about 35. 40% from the field or so. So like 40 to 45% of 15 to 16. Let's say it's 15 shots, right? Is like 7. That's 7 makes. We need him to hit threes. That's not an edge for me. 3-point attempts are only in the last 3. So he's at 4 in the last 3 or so. And he's not a very good 3-point shooter. Let's be honest. Now he's made 50% of them a couple of times, and that's how he got over, but I don't really want to have to rely on that. Now the threes, 1.5 is juiced all the way down. That makes no sense. I know he's made a couple in the last games, but he's been shooting at like 50%. So yeah, I got to pass on Scottie Pippen Jr., unfortunately. All right, keeping it moving so I can let y'all have some time back here. Looking at this San Antonio game, I think Wemby's a look. I really do. I think Jokic first quarter points is also a look. Now this has gone down. You can get a 27.5 now. So some people are betting the under with the assumption that this game is not going to be close. His first quarter points are at 7.5, and I think that's where I would lean. I know that's where I would lean for Joker if I'm taking him because of those minutes, right? I just don't know for sure what's going to happen in those minutes. In San Antonio, he had 15 points. Everybody was out in that game. Let's put this so that we've got Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray playing, right? Because they're both in, I believe, unless somebody has some info on those dudes not playing anymore. But looking at him in the first quarter against the first quarter with those dudes in, it's a 50% hit rate. So it's a little bit more likely that he just went over in the first quarter on these points because of the fact that there was nobody else in there. If we look at the first quarter rebounds, even with those dudes in, he's still looking pretty good, right? And he didn't have them against the Spurs, and in the Spurs game he had 8 first quarter rebounds. I think I like that more than the points at this point. And I mean, look, centers can do whatever they want against this squad. If we put, I'm not going to put Joker in because Joker is just a man unto himself. If I go to versus position, I look at centers on the season. Spurs give up the second most points. They give up the 3rd or 4th most rebounds to centers. You can just do that in the last 7 games. A little bit better in the points, the rebounds. They've been playing a little bit better, but still not very good, right? A ton of assists to the center position as well, which we know Jokic can do. So I think I'm on the first quarter rebounds for Joker. I just think he's going to come and assert his dominance like he did against Rudy. And I want to figure out a way to play him in the first quarter because I don't trust him to be playing for the rest of this game. So I'm going to take first quarter for Jokic over 3.4 rebounds. Over or 3.4, whatever, 3.5 rebounds for minus 1. Is minus 122 really the best number I can get on that? Oh yeah, this isn't giving me first quarter stuff on the prop numbers here. So it's just the rebounds for the game. I gotta look that up. So I'll put that in the pinned comments of the video for Jokic's over rebounds in the first Q. All right, that's a play that's on the bottom there as well. First Q over 3.5 rebounds. TBD on the line there. 3.5 rebounds is wonderful. Let's look at Aaron Gordon real quick while we're in this game. Pull the bottom line back up so it has the rest of these bets for y'all. No worries, bro. It was all right. I'll check Austin Reeves for you too, bro. I promise. But no worries on the Yurt 7 call. It's all good. He should have had it and then he just stopped playing. But yeah, so we like him there. I want to look at Aaron Gordon for the homie who brought it up earlier. If we look at full game rebounds, he's only at 5.5. What's his points at? So maybe it was the RA you were talking about. Yeah, 9.5 rebounds and assists. And I can see what you're looking at here with the way he's been going over lately, very consistently in these last 10. We look at head to head. The problem with Ago's rebounds is when he plays against a team that he's stretched out to the 3-point line and not really playing as close to the basket. So that would be one worry for Aaron Gordon. I failed to get his rebounds the last time that he went out. Against this team, yeah, I mean, he's been getting let's look at the rebounds because the assists, it's mad weird. Like, I don't know when to trust the assists for dude. I don't have a good read on that. So if I'm just going to look at these teams real quick in their tracking, rebounding, looking at Aaron Gordon. Let's do the last 10 for Aaron Gordon, his rebound chances, and see where we're at by going to Denver Nuggets. Pulling that up, going to rebound chances. He's still third behind MPJ in the last 10, right? And he's played 7 games in there. MPJ's played all 10 of these last 10. 11.4 to pick up 7 boards. Let's put him in in Courtside Pal real quick. And even while I got this thing up, let me look at power forwards because he's definitely a power forward. Rebounds against the Spurs, a little bit worse. And I would guess part of the reason is who he's matched up with. But let's put him in Courtside Pal. And I don't even know who he's going to be matched up with, bro. That's the other problem with today, right? The matchups are not going to be what they normally are. But Courtside Pal does a good job of at least giving us the player profile stuff on rebounds. Oh, and I don't have Aaron Gordon in yet. Aaron Gordon, Aaron. I put him in here. And we look at rebounds against SAS. They're pretty good against power. Where'd they go? Yeah. Who did I put? Aaron Gordon versus the Spurs. Where's SAS in black? Bro, does anybody see San Antonio on here? That's so weird. Oh, they're gray. I'm a fucking idiot. 10th most rebounds to his position. So there's not much to say that you should take an under. There's actually a pretty good look at the over for him on the boards. The rebound chances at 11.4 in the last 10. That's a 6 is still a little bit more than 50%, but he's at a 64% rebound chance percentage. So it's really just about, is he going to get that? I just want to see real quick who's playing for this San Antonio squad. If I go to NBA and look at the Spurs right quick, which division are they in? That division is gonna be nasty next year, fam. With the Spurs are gonna be good next year. Like, I don't know if any of y'all have watched Victor Wembanyama play, but he's already top 20, top 15 in the NBA, and that's just me being conservative, to be honest with you. Trey Jones, Champagny, Wembanyama, Devontae, Mamu Kalashvili, obviously. So he's probably going to be matched up with Sandro. There might be some Sandro in there. That might be a good look then for Aaron Gordon, to be honest, on the rebounds. The assists, I just don't know how to trust. So I'm not really like, I mean, he has been diming up lately, I guess. Potential assists up to 7 in his last 10 to pull down 4. Is that, yeah, to get 4 at minus 115. Not a great look for me, but I think the rebounds against Sandro, Mamu Kalashvili, fan favorite on the show. Let's look at one more thing real quick. And now, he didn't guard Mamu Kalashvili last time they played because, well, maybe he did. Yeah, that was on 4-2. Let me look at player rebounds for the Nuggets versus Berthith, and I'll take off all 10 games. I'll just do all season segments and do versus the Spurs and see how many potential rebounds or rebound chances he had against the Spurs this season. So he's played against them twice, and he's only got 1 game with a lot of rebound chances. I guess they played hella backups, right? So what was the game that he actually played minutes? So on the 15th, he only played 25 minutes and pulled down 3 boards because they were already winning that game in the second quarter. That game was over. Last season, don't care about because that was never a good team last year. And so 2 games this season, averaging 5 boards a game, went over in one of them. And that one, he only played 25 minutes. In the other game, he's played 33. You can't rely on him to play 33 tonight. What am I talking about, right? Like, you cannot rely on anybody to play big minutes in this game. So that's why I took a first quarter over on rebounds for Jokic and didn't play the whole game, right? So I can't get ahead of myself here. I know they need to win, but why would you be like? They should just blow them out. Honestly, what is his first quarter rebounds at? 1.5. Doing that pretty consistently as well. Man, it's a tough look. I understand the logic for taking Aaron Gordon, and I would play the over on his rebounds before and after anything else. But yeah. Oh, Barron just texted me. He's in Vegas, so that's why he's looking for bets. Crazy bastard. All right, I'm gonna pass on Gordon. I'll be honest with you. I want to take it. I really, really do. And now I'm talking myself back into it. On the full, what's the minus 134. I can't take it for that kind of juice. Sorry, y'all. If it was better number, then I'd have a better edge, and I don't. So I'm out on that. Honestly, real quick, just answer your question, Dave. Like the logic for leaving Hart out is just I don't know. It's the second to last game of the season, and while he's been going off, it's now at 10.5 rebounds for him, and I can't feel comfortable with that. Get out of here. We got Pritchard in here now too with this. Yeah, okay, good call. Yehoshua gets what I'm talking about with Aaron Gordon. If you're gonna play overs for this Denver team, I would stick to the first quarter, first half. This is great information. Thank you, DB. Mavs only expected to play in the first half. That is a really good call. And here's what we came to talk about real quick, though. But before I get to Pritchard, the god, we're gonna at least talk about Victor. And by the way, Sandro Mamu Kalashvili got 11 the other game. So we got to shout out Ray for that call. I believe Ray brought the Aaron Gordon look, which I put in there. And like, I think that's a good play for the first quarter. I'm going to finalize these bets because I've been a chicken with my head cut off. And so I'm going to finalize the ones that are coming up a little bit later and put those in as soon as I can. But let's at least get back to Shaw Boston since that's about to start and see what we got here on Props.cash for Peyton. Peyton Army helmet haircut Pritchard. With just hilarious where there's just a slew of short white guys coming off the bench yesterday for Boston after they were up big. That had me gagged. All right, let me look at Peyton on here. Did he come through on my other prop finder tool that I love here? Let's see if he's through on that one. Peyton P. 19.5 points, bro. What are we doing? And I don't even have his assist prop up yet. And is it 20? No, it's not 22.5 for the PA. It's not 3.5 assists, right? Let me see what that is real quick. Does he have nobody has assists up in this game. They're scared, bro. They're scared. I don't know. You're gonna have to find it. I for Pritchard, like I would still play. Like if you see 3.5, that's crazy. Now he's gonna probably have what, like 7.5 as his assist prop. His points are at 19.5. Crazy stuff, which makes sense. I mean, let's see. Peyton Pritchard last 10 games. Okay, he's coming up now. 20.5 points. Not lying. Assist. No way. There's no way it's 2.5. This is from yesterday. Yeah, this isn't even pulling through odds because nobody has it up. They're just pulling up 2.5 from yesterday, I would bet. With this in mind, I think 5.5 is a fine line to play over. If they try to go crazy on us with the 7.5, they can bite me. Honestly, I'm going to pull up Peyton Pritchard real quick in Courtside Pal. Peyton P. Pusha P. Assists against this Charlotte team as a playmaker. Yeah, they're actually good at limiting assists, man, because they give up a lot of points to the person at the top. Look at that. The best at limiting assists. What about points, though? Yeah, they're way worse at limiting points, and that's why you see Peyton there. What's his threes at? Did they put out? Yeah, it's one. If it's 1.5, we're obviously hitting that. I think 2.5 is a good line for Peyton P. But yeah, they're scared, bro. They don't want this smoke from us. Like they already know that we're all over Peyton Pritchard. I like Micic against his team, but apparently they're sitting all their players. That was a good look from my guy. I think it was DB that brought it up. Somebody did. But if we look at the underdog stuff here, that's where we saw this, right? They're not going to be playing all their dudes the whole time for Charlotte, which is like, what are we doing? What you're Charlotte? You're already backups. What are we doing here? All right, cool. So this is what I'm saying for y'all for Pritchard. Don't hate it. But keep in mind, Charlotte Yeah, I had Crispy capping on early. Yeah, keep in mind that Charlotte is good at limiting those assists. So the points, the threes are a good play for Pritchard. Let me put that up here. Okay, yeah, I did tell you I'd look at Reeves' assists. That's my bad. Let me put this up real quick. Gordon, first quarter, if anything. I'm just writing it all out, honestly. Wemby, I think over 10.5 rebounds. I already know that from looking at it earlier, is a good play. I think he's somewhat blowout proof. And now the only thing I'm looking at here is Zoo, and I'm looking at and I'm gonna put Pritchard up, and then I'm gonna look at the Reeves assist. Peyton Pritchard over man, is it 20.5? That is terrible. I think if you get over 2.5 threes, you hit that. What I'm looking at for Pritchard real quick is how bad this team is against the ball handler on the pick and roll. So if I go to players, if I actually go to teams and I go to play type, I'm gonna pull up pick and roll ball handler and go to defense. Frequency, is this pick and roll ball handler? Yeah. Oh, this is team defensive. So Charlotte, it's actually not getting put into the blender that much, are they? Let's see points per possession against that play. Okay, maybe they're not as bad as I thought. That's on me. They actually are good at limiting pick and roll ball handler points. So points per game in terms of the ball handler and the pick and roll against this team, damn, they're actually pretty good. They're like 4th or 5th best. So I'm getting a little bit scared of Pritchard, but I mean, we're going to have backups in for the team that's already full of backups as their starters. Like, yeah. Yeah. So Javonte Green over points and rebounds. That's going to, do I have that banner up still? My bad. So Javonte Green, I deleted it. I'm an idiot. That should be on the bottom though for Javonte. Yeah, we got Javonte Green here. He doesn't have props up, but I got him over 6.5 boards and over 11.5 points as my projected lines for him. All right, so let me close it out with Zoo double. Let's see what we got for Zubac and the Clippers, who are not trying at all. Against Yurt 7, it's Yurt season, baby. What are you, crazy? Is everybody out officially for this Clippers squad? Can we rely on that? Do we have that information? Let me pull up this and see what we got. Actually, let me just go to the injury report at this point because it's 4 o'clock. Pulling up the NBA injury report right quick to see that. I think Zubac is probably a good play. And then the last one I was looking at is Reeves assists, because I didn't forget Reeves assists. And I'm just looking at this Clippers injury report. Where is it at? They are playing at the end of the night. Where are you at? The Yaz. So Kawhi out, Josh Primo out, James Harden questionable, and we're talking about Zubac, right? Without Kawhi, I bet there's some pretty good stuff for Zoo. So let's see. It's really about the rebounds. I think he's probably good for the 10. He's only gone under 10 once in the last 10. The rebounds are at 10.5. We got to take Kawhi out. So let's pull Kawhi out of here and see what that does. All right, so over the last 10, 6 out of the last 10 without Kawhi, dating back to December. I don't think it probably helps him. Let me put him in here. If we look at Zubac with and without Kawhi this season, yeah, the boards go up. Yeah, they're at 11.2. So that's dope. I like that. I don't like how much he has not been doing it. He's at 28.8 minutes. How much did he play last? Oh, this is the last 10, right? So the last game he just played 28 minutes against Phoenix. I don't think you can expect too much more than that. He played 35 against Denver, which you see centers do because you need centers in there to even limit Jokic at all. But there's no reason. Like Nurk is probably going to play about the same. So you can expect 28 to 29 minutes at most for dude. Probably 28 minutes is what we put him for. 28 minutes. And he's got, what's he averaging? 12 in the last 10 in 28 minutes. It's probably not quite as much of an edge, but what's the double for Zoo? Let me see where I'm at up here. The double for Zubac, pulling up my prop finder tool, is going to be double for Zoo. All right, I heard you. Minus 133. Nah, fam. That ain't it. That is definitely not it. What? I guess he's got a 10.5 rebound prop. So that's really what it comes down to. If the rebound prop is at 9.5, maybe you get a little bit better love on that. But nah, I can't actively condone that. I guess this, yeah, I mean, Yurt 7's not the worst defender or rebounder in the world. He is one of the worst defenders in the world. I will say that. So the Zubac points might be a good look, to be honest. Problem with Zubac is James Harden playing? And we don't know. So even like, yeah, these Zubac props aren't probably even updated fully. I would lean to the over with dude, but I mean, honestly, this was on the what am I trying to say? This was on the Underdog NBA page on Twitter, Mike, for the info about Charlotte not playing. I also like Brandon Miller. I put him in there. I haven't bet him yet, even though I was about to get in there. I might not even be able to at this point. But yeah, that was where that came from, was that the report that they weren't going to sit everybody. All right, I'm passing on the Zoo because there's nothing in terms of the edge there for me. I think the rebounds are and the points are a fine play. In fact, the points, but I want James Harden in there. And because without Kawhi, you can see he's the dude who's scoring down low. But if he doesn't have James Harden, how does that look? Let me take Harden out and take out Kawhi real quick. Let's see what that does for him. Okay, he's only played one game this season without them, and he went over in that one against Phoenix the other night. We know he was playing 28, 29 minutes. It's probably a pretty good look for like the PR or just the points, to be honest with you. But I'm a little bit scared of just the rebounds, even against a team like Utah, where it's a little bit more of a crapshoot. So looking at last thing here, this is going to be my last thing, looking at Austin Reeves. So let me pull up Reeves and then jump in that Discord, y'all, because I'll be a lot more active in there for the rest of the night and try to see if I can get some office hours and have y'all come through and we can maybe watch some hoop together. And what I want to start doing is live bets. That's going to be litty. I love live betting, bro. I mean, I think a lot of us do. So I want to make sure I look at that stuff with you. I'll have like literally like live bet live stream, right? Is that what we call it? Live bet live stream? That makes sense. So we'll get them live bet live streams in there. LBL. Yeah, I like that. LBY, LBL. There's something there. We'll workshop it. My marketing people get to me on that. The Austin Reeves 5.5 board assist. Let me see what you're seeing there. I believe DB brought that up, right? Let me see. So we got LeBron and AD playing. Let's keep that in mind. If we look at Austin Reeves to see if there's just a starting point, Austin Threeves with and without LeBron James this season. All right, for Austin Threeves, the assists do not go up without LeBron, so that's cool. The points go up without LeBron. All right, we like that. I'm just gonna see with and without Anthony Davis, just for context, just in like let's not let his numbers get skewed here. Same shit, just more points without AD, and not necessarily more assists or less assists. So the thought of him getting assists here, is he somewhat what we call blowout proof? I think he is, right? Like they play a lot of D'Lo, Austin Reeves, Rui when they've got a big lead. So I'm going to look at Austin Reeves assists when they win by 10. His minutes are at 32, and this is on the season when they win by 10. His minutes are at 28.5. Not bad. In the last 10, that's up to 32, right? Let's do win by 15. They better blow this team out, bro. They're going to be mad. 28 minutes is a good floor. I think that's what we can expect from him in a blowout either way, right? So if we give him 28 minutes, and let's take this off for a minute. So we give him 28 minutes tonight, assuming that there's a blowout. That's 4 fewer than what he's averaged on the season. Over the last 10, that's way fewer than what he's averaged over the last 10 overall. But if we do win by 10 plus within the last 10 games, right? 7 of his last 10 where they've won by this many points. That's dating back to February, right after the trade deadline. You get plus 102. He's at 9.6 potentials to get 6. That's what scares you. That's what scares you. You need this to be a blowout game, and then you need, that's probably not enough of an edge. I know I'm supposed to be using my spreadsheet and my model to get this stuff out to you guys, but obviously we had limited time today. These games are about to kick off. I got to pass personally on that, but I'm good on. I'm good on that. I'll look at one more thing. I mean, even if the problem with putting a dude like him in there for assists is, let's see, Austin Reeves. Putting him in there for the assists is that like I guess he is a ball handler in the pick and roll quite a bit, and he is taking on Memphis tonight. Memphis is all the way down here for his playmaker stuff. Yeah, it's a bit of a pass for me too, bro. There's so much unknown today; it's a little bit scary. So I'm good on all that. Hit me on Discord if you do want to talk a little bit more about stuff. I gotta dip, as I'm sure some of y'all do. But like I said, hit me on Discord. I really appreciate y'all who have already jumped in there. We got some really good stuff going. Today was a little bit crazy day for me, for sure. It was a little bit busier than I wanted to be. I didn't quite get to get all the bets out there that I wanted on a 15-game slate, so I apologize about that. Gonna have a video for Sunday, tomorrow night. Also going to have MLB. I should have been making that clear. I know Yehoshua has been in here asking me about MLB, so I just want to make clear. I am going to be looking at MLB. I'll probably be looking at that for tomorrow. By tomorrow morning, get an MLB video out. Going to look pretty much the same. I'll probably be looking at some pitcher props or some first five stuff, any of that kind of stuff that you want to see. Yeah, bro, there's a new, and the other last thing, when we talk about live betting and like watching the games together, if you have a league pass, I'm about to have a subscription to the thing that I was on with Daft Previews yesterday, where it's called playback.tv. I'll put that on a banner real quick for y'all. So playback.tv, so you can see it right here. This is going to be what you want to get an account. I don't know if they're free yet, but I think it's like $10 for the year, right? It's like $1 a month or something. So I think it's a legit way to get some stuff to be able to watch these games together. If you have League Pass, I can pull up the stream, put it on there. If you don't have League Pass, I'll be able to get a few free passes per game as well, so we can watch that together. And the League Pass will just be for that game, right? So yeah, no doubt, bro. I appreciate y'all as well, for real. Like this doesn't exist without you guys, bro. And honestly, like this Discord wouldn't have gotten up as fast as it did if y'all weren't like, what's good, fam, right? And so I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys like coming together and just like talking to each other, helping each other out, man. Y'all are good people, for real. I think we're building some good people on top of like some good bettors, hopefully, right? So I think that's a good goal to have. But finalizing what I'm saying, playback.tv. We're going to be looking at some streams together. We'll get in there and live bet and all that. Jump in Discord. If you have anything, hit me in there in the NBA discussion. If you have MLB stuff, let's get that chat going too. And if you have any plays or insights, if you do have like insights, bro, and you're like, yo, I just found this thing. There's a betting insights one specifically for that. I'm going to be dropping stuff in there all the time as well. Miles Bridges just got ruled out, by the way. I'm going to be dropping stuff in there as my betting insights. So like my cheat sheets and the daily notes that I'm using to make these games. I want to start putting those in there for you in an organized fashion as well. That's the point of this whole Discord, is like for us to share information, not for me to just like sit on high and be like, here's my bets, y'all. Like, do you want them? Like, that ain't it. Like, y'all are very intelligent people as well, and have helped me a ton since I got in here. So that's enough rambling. I really, really appreciate y'all. Get me in Discord. You see it right there. If you need the link, it's in Twitter on the bio. It's in the description of the video as well, and we'll get it. All right. Have a good rest of the night. Safe gambling. Happy betting. Talk to y'all later.